The NHL Trade Deadline, one of the most exciting times of the season, a day that has changed the destiny for many players and teams for decades. Also a day filled with pure anxiety, uncertainty, and speculation for many parties involved. Here are 10 facts on the NHL Trade Deadline. Let's go! Since 1968, there have been a total of 644 trades, including 1,228 players and 461 draft picks. But how exactly does a trade go down? Well, lucky for you, I've got your step-by-step guide on how to make a trade on deadline day. Step 1. Figure out who you're trading and who you're looking to acquire. And make it good. You don't want to be on the losing side of this. Step 2. Coordinate with the team you are making the trade with. Make nice with them. Or don't. Step 3. Call the league office. Step 4. Tell the league office. Step 5. Grab a snack and wait for the league office to call you back with your newfound trading buddy on the line. Step 6. Bring your A game. Now is not the time for fear. This call is for business, numbers, money, contracts, more money, more numbers, negotiations. And once all of that is settled and out of the way, we can move on to Step 7, which is end call, aka the trade is complete. Congratulations, you have just gone through the 7 steps, you've sealed the deal, and you've just made your trade. But no one knows about it. So now we gotta go into Step 8, which is the tweet. Let's check in with Hockey Central insider, Elliotte Friedman. Hey, Elliotte.
Hey, Emily, the honest truth is this. When it comes to deadline day, there are no rules at all. It's simply about how quickly can you get the information and who do you trust.
Go.
You'll get one text and you'll be checking something and you'll get another text saying, okay, here's another thing. If someone's word is gold and they give you something, you feel comfortable going with it, you go with it. If you feel you have to check with another person or two, and that's usually the smart thing to do, you go and do that. But the idea of checking with 5 or 6 people on trade deadline day, that doesn't work because you go and get beat, but we're not always comfortable. Sometimes you do get beat because you're just not sure.
So we know many trades have gone down over the years, but let's see if you can answer this question. Which player has been traded the most on deadline day? Is it A, Lee Stempniak, B, Dan McGillis, C, Alan May, or D, future considerations? I won't blame you if you say D. The correct answer is C, longtime NHL enforcer Alan May. May was traded a total of 5 times in his career, with 4 of them happening at the deadline in 1988, 89, 94, and 95. The teams that acquired him were Calgary, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Edmonton. And apparently, to no one's surprise, May dreaded deadline day every year. Can you blame him? Currently, Boston holds the title for the most consecutive years a team has gone without making a single trade on deadline day. What? The Bruins did not make a single transaction at the trade deadline for 15 long years, from 1968 to 1983. Now, contrary to that, Anaheim owns the NHL's longest active streak for making a trade on deadline day, having made at least one deal since 2006. The team has had 2 GMs in that time, Brian Burke and Bob Murray. Colorado had a streak of 15 straight deadlines, making a move until they stayed quiet in 2018. Anaheim is the only team that has made at least one transaction on the last day of dealing in each season of the salary cap era. Deadline days can be risky business. As we know, some turn out great for one of the teams involved, and for the other, not so much. Let's talk good moves first. Remember when Colorado acquired Ray Bourque in 2000 after 21 dedicated seasons in Boston? We all know how this story finishes, with Bourque lifting the Stanley Cup over his head after the final game of his career. Let's take it back a bit further to 1988, when Calgary traded Brett Hull to the Blues. Hull went on to score 527 of his 741 goals with the Blues, becoming a franchise icon, going on to win 2 Stanley Cups and becoming a Hockey Hall of Famer in 2009. Another big move, this one for Pittsburgh in 91, when the Whalers traded captain Ron Francis. He went on to play a pretty big role in the Penguins winning their first and second Stanley Cups in the franchise's history. As for lopsided deals, there are many notable ones, including the losing side of the ones I just mentioned. But I think the biggest may just be the 1996 Marcus Naslund trade, where the Penguins traded Naslund to the Canucks for Alex Stoyanov. This is considered one of the most regrettable deals in the franchise's and arguably the NHL's history. Naslund exploded for the Canucks, serving as captain for 8 seasons and becoming the franchise leader in both goals and points at the time. He ended his career with 1,117 games played and 869 points, while Stoyanov ended his career after 3 seasons with only 7 points. My question to you, would you consider this the biggest lopsided deal in trade deadline history? Drop a comment and let us know. And I know what you're thinking, more trades mean more Stanley Cups. Yeah, no, not really. Since 1968, the Penguins and Canucks are the 2 teams who have made the most deadline day deals of any NHL franchise, with a total of 65. And while many of those deals have worked out for the Penguins, I mean, we already talked about Ron Francis alone, for the Canucks, yeah, not so much. So while the Canucks are making a lot of deadline day deals, those trades aren't really accelerating any sort of rebuild that could lead them to the Cup, at the moment at least. And speaking of never winning a cup, Sportsnet's very own Colby Armstrong was actually part of a massive deadline day deal back in 2008. And it was awful for Armdog. Could you imagine going from being Sidney Crosby's line mate to playing in front of no fans at all? I would never show my face again. It would just be too... He's behind me, isn't he?
Hello, Em. I haven't met you yet. I don't even know you, and this is how you do me? I guess you want the player's perspective. Is that what it is? Now, times have changed since this old dog was out barking. Ow, ow, ow. We didn't have all the tech crap phones, beep boop pop, but I can tell you, being dealt on the deadline can be really stressful. First, in the lead up, you've got to deal with the rumor mill. That's a real thing. And if your name is on the list, you're going to be hearing about it non-stop from the boys, the media, family, friends, even the guy down at the coffee shop, everyone. Then there's the process of actually being dealt. Once the trade is confirmed, hopefully you get a text from your head coach or a GM telling you to meet them in their office to deliver the news. But not everyone is quite so lucky. Imagine you spend every day grinding for an organization to find out you've been traded from this guy. Now, like I said before, the process of being dealt on deadline day can be really tough for some guys. But for others, well, they go on to set career highs in goals and points. But that's just some guys.
Yeah. Sorry, Armdog. And if you think trades stop on deadline day, you couldn't be more wrong. Some of them get wild. The craziest one? I would say that title belongs to the LA Kings when they dealt Jeff Carter at the 2021 trade deadline, because that extended a franchise trade tree that has existed since the franchise's inception in 1967. Trade tree or trade forest? You decide. Okay, let's talk coaches, because we know many current NHL players go on to become head coaches. Can you guess which current head coach this is who has had the distinction of being dealt as a player on deadline day? Let me give you some clues. His playing career spans from 1979 to 1993. He played most of his NHL career for the Sabres, serving as captain for the team for nearly 3 years. He was traded to the Rangers at the 1989 trade deadline in exchange for a draft pick. He began his coaching career in 1997. He's got a pretty gnarly mustache, not gonna lie. If you guessed Lindy Ruff, you are correct. Ruff is currently the head coach for the Devils, and he's not the only one. There are 4 other current head coaches in the NHL who were also dealt on deadline day as players. And that's a wrap on this episode of 10 Facts, all about the NHL trade deadline. Were some of these facts interesting, shocking to you? Did you know some of them already? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. My name is Emily Agard. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more 10 Facts coming soon. I'll see you next time.